South Africa's Endeavour Harvest Fund 2 closes on 190 million rand, making African tech the fastest growing in the world. Harvest Fund 2 raised double its initial target and has invested in 10 companies in its first year, making it the most active venture capital fund in South Africa. For more on this, we're joined by Harvest Fund's Antonia Bothner. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Antonia. I mean, no doubt an important milestone, particularly for businesses operating in that industry and are in desperate need of resources.
Yes, and good morning to you, Rafiwa. It's really, great positive news, particularly when, you're faced with these pressures economically. The work that we're doing is really grassroots level, and it's really inspiring and exciting, and we're really seeing great demand for this part of the economy that's really vibrant. So really excited to tell this good news story.
No, absolutely. And how important is this particular industry in terms of contributing to economies, not just in South Africa, but all over the African continent?
Well, what you're seeing is this trend into the private markets, really at a grassroots level. And the impact that venture capital has is really direct. They're really stimulating entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs drive the economy. They create innovation. So all the money that actually gets spent goes directly into creating jobs and revenue, and looking and focusing on resources on areas of the economy that really need that focus and that sort of vibrancy. So it's really a grassroots level injection, which has a huge multiplier effect. So I'd say it's small if you look at the numbers, but the impact that you see going forward is multiplicative, both in impact and economically. So it's very exciting to see this starting to happen in Africa and South Africa.
No, absolutely. I mean, we've got 10 companies that the fund has invested in. Do you have a specific target? Talk us through that.
Yes, when we initially launched the fund, we had targeted half the size and about 10 investments. We've had such great demand, both for the opportunities to invest and from the demand from a fundraising perspective, that we will probably end up doubling. And the reason for this is really we are a tech-driven fund. There are exciting entrepreneurs that Endeavour as a model works with. So it's really been a lovely combination of both the opportunities and the demand for those opportunities.
No, absolutely. And are there specific businesses within the tech industry that you focus on, for example, fintech, or is it across the board that the fund supports?
So the fund is specifically focused on businesses that are scaling, right at that inflection point when they need both resources, they need people, and they need all the help that they can get actually expand their business and take it from 20 to 50 to 100 plus employees. What we see generally in the specific scaling, and tech is quite a scalable business because you're starting with very low capital investment in terms of fixed assets. What you're seeing in South Africa and Africa as a whole is that the scalable model tends to start with fintech. So the bulk of the fund is predominantly in fintech. You've also got another vertical called software as a service, where it's annuity revenue. You pay a subscription basis for the technology. So you're seeing, first of all, fintech, and then software as a service. You're also seeing disruption in what we call edtech, health tech, and consumer tech. So any vertical that you will see in the economy that we know it is just disrupted from a technology perspective, so that you'll see the fund has quite a broad spectrum across the different sectors. But I'd say predominantly it is fintech and software as a service.
Yeah. And then just finally, we have run out of time, Antonia, but I have to ask you this, just based on your engagements and all that you've been exposed to, are you confident that Africa and African tech industries can compete with the rest of the world, just based on what you've seen and on engagements?
100%. I think we've just proven that, and I think the numbers are really speaking for themselves. We add a completely different way of thinking, which adds an innovation which you can't get in the rest of the world. And the numbers, in terms of Africa, we are the next billion consumers. That means by 2050, we will have a fifth of the world will be African. So I think that is a reason that we will absolutely be able to compete. And we're probably one of the last countries in the world that actually has this demographic bonus, which is this young pool of citizens that are, going through that process of maturing. So yes, I'm very sure.
Thank you very much, Antonia Bothner, joining us there, the founder of the Harvest Fund.